Hello and welcome to the ultimate, in-depth and only guide to bazaar flipping that you will ever need. I recently got my old account which only had 7 mil, and within a day and a half it is now sitting at a pretty 150 million, and hopefully by the end of this video you will have learnt to do the same. Now I've split this video into different sections and timestamped each one, so you can skip to whatever part you need to know. Alright, so we're going to start off by actually going to the bazaar. So the bazaar is located right here, if you didn't know, right next to the hub. And we're just going to explain the different features of the bazaar. So we have buy instantly, sell instantly. Those are straightforward enough. You just buy and sell at the price it states. And now we have something called a buy order and a sell order. Now the buy order is the highest price that someone is willing to pay for an item. So in this case it's 3.6, and the sell order is the lowest price that someone is willing to sell an item for, in this case 3.8. Now the general principle is that the instant buy price is equal to the sell offer price, and the instant sell price is equal to the buy offer price. Of course we also have to include the bazaar tax, which is 1.25% by default. Now I'm just going to quickly mention the NPCs. NPCs is anywhere like the adventure over here where you can sell an item. That's going to be important later on. Now let's quickly talk about refreshing. If I contest this guy who's selling this coal at 3.5, he can cancel his current order and create a new one at the most competitive price. Now we're going to talk about all the different types of bazaar flips that you can do. These are gradually going to start off simple and then get more advanced as we go through them. So for the first one here, I'm at the builder and we are going to do the NPC buy to instant sell flip. Now think of this as a sort of daily quest you can do to earn a good chunk of coins at the start of every day. The idea is simple. Certain items such as ice, packed ice, acacia, iron, flint, wheat, and jungle logs sell on the bazaar for much higher than what the NPC sells them for. So you can buy up the different items from the NPC and sell them directly to the bazaar. This method is good because it guarantees profit, however is limited by only 10 stacks of each item, which you can sell to the NPC per day. Now the next method is the instant buy to NPC sell. This is similar to the previous method. However, this time we are doing the reverse. Certain items, such as enchanted sugar and clay, sell in the bazaar for less than you can sell them to the NPC. So you can buy up as many of the item that are cheaper than the NPC sell value, and then proceed to sell them to the NPC. I will leave a link of NPC sell prices for different items in the description. There is also a limit on the total value you can sell to the NPC, and I believe this to be around 200 million. This method has a smaller profit per item sold than the previous one, generally speaking, but you can sell a whole lot more of them if you sell up to the NPC limit. Now we're going to move on to the buy order to sell offer method. For every item in the bazaar, the buy order price is always lower than the sell offer price. Therefore, for any item in the bazaar, we can create a buy order and wait for it to fill up and then resell the same item for a higher price. For most items you will need to keep refreshing the item, as people will usually overbid the buy orders and underbid the sell orders. Items with a large difference between the buy order and sell offer prices are usually a good idea to do this method with. However, if the item is very rare or expensive, it will be less profitable as the buy orders will fill up very slowly. My recommendation is that this method is best to do with most farming items, as the buy orders fill up decently fast. Now the next method is buy order to wait, and then instant sell or sell order. This method is similar to the previous one, but requires much less upkeep, so you don't have to waste time standing at the bazaar and can go do other things. The general idea is that you place a large buy order for an item at a lower price than the current buy order, and then you go leave to work on other things. Since the price of items always fluctuates, this buy order will eventually fill up over time, and then you can either instantly sell the item if the price has increased a lot, or you can create a sell order to sell the same item and again leave it. This method is pretty slow, however requires little to no effort. The important thing is that you do not set a buy order that is too low, as this will likely take a lot longer to fill up, or even never. This method is very flexible and can be done with almost all the items in the bazaar. Now we will move on to the more advanced methods. These methods are more advanced because they require you to craft items into other ones, which requires both the collection unlocked for that particular item, as well as understanding what materials are required to craft the other ones. The first such method is the instant buy to craft to instant sell. This is the fastest of all the methods, but requires research for which items this is profitable. The idea is that you buy an item or items, craft it into its enchanted form, and then sell the enchanted form for a higher price than the cost of materials. A good example of this is Eyes of Ender. Simply instant buy the enchanted ender pearls and blaze rods, craft Eyes of Ender, and instantly sell it for profit. Most of the time in this method is spent crafting the item, so the faster you can craft, the more profit you can make. Keep an eye on the fluctuating prices, as this will not always be profitable for a particular item. Items in which this usually works include enchanted ender eyes, as mentioned, enchanted charcoal, enchanted snow blocks, enchanted ice blocks, dark oak logs, and some fish baits. It is likely that you will need to research your own items, as if a lot of people are trying to flip the same item, it will eventually become unprofitable. Next up we have buy order, into craft, into sell offer. This method will be viable for the same items as the previous method, with one difference. Instead of instant buying the items, we are creating buy orders. While these orders fill up, we are crafting the items into the enchanted form. We are then creating sell offers for the enchanted form and then repeating the process. This makes efficient use of time, as you spend the time having to wait for the buy orders to fill up, crafting the enchanted forms for additional profit. You will still need to be constantly refreshing the buy orders and the sell offers. While this method is extremely profitable, the main issue with this method is that a lot of your money will be held up in the sell offers. So make sure you have enough money left over to constantly create new buy orders and craft even more of the items. If you have gotten this far into the video, congratulations, you have arrived at the final and most profitable method, flexible crafting. The idea of this is simple. Combine the previous methods you have learnt together and utilize them depending on different market indicators. One such indicator is if the buy orders for an item is being contested, you can instead switch to either instant buying that particular item or switching to a different item altogether until it becomes less contested. You can also create a buy order and instant buy the same item at the same time. While waiting for your buy order to fill up, you can make profit from the instant buy crafts and then refresh the buy order when necessary. The buy orders make more profit but take longer, while the instant buys are shorter but less profitable. This requires a lot of constant refreshing and checking market prices, as well as crafting quickly, but if done right, you can be immensely rich. The best way to improve this is by simply getting practice doing the previous methods separately before combining them together. Now we are going to go over some very useful tips that you need when bazaar flipping. The first thing is invest in a personal compactor. This makes crafting items into the enchanted form a million times easier. These are quite expensive, however I recommend you invest whatever money you have starting off. Another tip is to get this Bazaar notifications mod. This tells you the most profitable items for method 3 that we've discussed, as well as informing you when someone else is contesting your buy orders or sell offers. The link for this mod is in the description. Another tip is be good at math, or get a calculator out. This will make it way easier to check the relative prices between enchanted items and their materials. And make sure to always double check. If your math is wrong, you could be losing money instead of gaining it. Now, another very useful tip that I have is to go to Elizabeth in the community shop. Now, Elizabeth has an upgrade which allows you to decrease the amount of bazaar tax you have from selling an item. Of course, lower tax means higher profits for you, so I would get on this upgrade as soon as possible. Now, this tip is for picking what item to create buy orders for. Items that are easier to collect, such as sugarcane or potatoes, because a lot of people have massive farms selling them, will fill up the buy orders a lot faster than other items such as gemstones, because they're a lot more expensive. It's important to keep this in mind, as the rate the buy orders fill up is effectively the rate that you're making profit. Since buy orders are filled up by instant sales, if you want to know the general rate at which an item is being instantly sold, this can be checked by the instant sales graph under the buy orders. Now, another tip is for contesting. If you see that someone is constantly contesting your buy orders, you can temporarily increase the price of your buy order significantly in order to deter other people from overbidding you. This prevents you from having to constantly refresh your buy orders. The same logic applies with sell offers. Now, the final tip I have is to get VIP. I left this one for last because VIP can only be obtained by paying real life money, or I guess spamming in chat for someone to buy it for you. The reason we want this is because it gives us the quick craft feature, meaning we can quickly craft an item that has different components and is not possible with a personal compactor. Obviously, this will increase the speed at which you craft items and therefore the speed at which you make a profit. If you found this video useful, please leave a like and subscribe for other videos like this one in the future. If you have anything else you would like me to make a video about, please leave it in the comments. That's it for now. I'll see you all